In less than 48 hours, the New Patriotic Party's National Delegates Conference will be voting on key reforms to see to the amendment of the party's constitution. I mean, this stems from a National Council meeting after deliberating on reforms that were considered by a constitutional amendment committee chaired by Frank Davis. But how are preparations ongoing? Former First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei, he's been put in charge as chairman of the planning committee. Let's find out from him how things are going. You're welcome to the ChannelOne TV.
Thank you very much.
We can see there's a stage behind us being mounted. It should suggest that you are nearing completion as far as your preparations are concerned.
Yes, well, as you can see, we started today preparing the ground for the conference. Various teams are working simultaneously. Various committees are working. The health committee is meeting, the planning committee, the grounds committee is the one who's facilitating that. As you can see, chairman of the accommodation committee is there, transport committee is in charge. So we are making feverish preparations to be sure.
Many committees there, but when they mentioned, I think we heard just about 16 names to form the planning committee.
That's the planning committee, but in the planning committee we have subcommittees and
you opted some people.
Several, and indeed there are very many volunteers. That is so encouraging. So many people are willing to voluntarily support the work we're doing, and so challenging, but we are up to the task.
I mean, this will be the first biggest gathering of the NPP since the defeat in 2024. This ran through the mind of members of the planning committee in putting this together.
All we care is that we have a national conference. We have had so many conferences. We have lost elections before. So for a political party, losing an election is part of your life cycle. We're not truly bothered about.
This loss to many was grave. The margin, you left Parliament voluntarily, but the sort of seats the party lost in Parliament, and so it might only be normal for the party to be concerned while having its major gathering after such a loss.
What is important is that all the delegates will be coming from all the 16 regions of the country. The motivation that driving people to come back, meet together, look at our constitution again, plan for the way forward is what matters. We've put the loss behind us. We are looking forward. The lessons we learned from the loss will motivate and guide us in our preparation towards the next election.
Now, let's look at tomorrow. We've seen, of course, the stadium, so at least they'll be seated in the seats that are available at the stadium. The platform that has been mounted, will anybody be seated on that platform?
It is not intended to be used for seating. All the seatings will be in the stands and the seats here. That will be used for communicating, for those who will be addressing members, those where they will be speaking from. But generally, seating will be around here. The seating is far bigger than the number of delegates we're expecting to be here.
How many delegates are you expecting?
In all, delegates is nearly 6,000, but in all, we're expecting about 8,000 people on the ground.
If one is a committed member of the NPP, not a delegate, and he lives close by, can a person come?
He may come to the precincts of a parliament. You may not be permitted to enter unless you have accreditation. We'll be very strict on that, and so let's make that point very clear. We'll be very strict on accreditation. You can only enter if you're accredited, and delegates accreditation will be different from special guests, from VVIPs, and from others.
We saw a communication that each region will be given an entry point. Should they take it that delegates will be seated region to region?
That's how we normally do it. Each region is congregated in one location, and so we'll continue to do it the same way. Yeah.
How many motions are we talking about?
In all, we have about a little over 50 motions to be taken.
Because we've seen a document, about a 300-page document that was circulated to delegates, but you have 50 motions.
That is the compilation of the various proposals coming from different groups of people. Some of the proposals, or many of the proposals, talk to the same issue. You may have one proposal, or one amendment, which would have about 50 proposed amendments. So what the motions are doing is consolidate the various issues that come around, and the members will be asked to vote upon those motions.
But we know, even though the proposals are similar, the thinking on how it should be differs. So, for instance, there are those who may think that polling station executives should be increased to 11. There are those who add other offices that pushes it to 19 or 20. How did the motion marry these differences?
Well, that is the work of the Constitutional Review Committee, very experienced one. Frank Davis is very many years my senior, and a few experienced Deputy Attorney General and so on. They have done the consolidation. I can't speak to the procedure they used, but I'm confident that the motions will cover all the areas that people raised issues on our constitution.
I ask this because as a planning committee chair, you would also be interested in how smooth things will go. Are these motions available, the finalized motions that they are going to vote on? Have delegates seen them?
I believe so. They have been printed into a booklet, and I think at the last general National Executive Emergency and National Executive meeting, copies were shown, and from there it would be handed over to the General Secretary, who would circulate it for members to consider.
Over 50 motions in a day's conference can all be considered, practically?
Yes, all of them will be considered. We believe that by 4 p.m. we should be done, because it is
so very ambitious, I believe.
You think so? We believe that members should return as soon as the conference is over. We don't intend to host or accommodate members for a second day. So we believe that not more than 4 hours should be sufficient.
What form of voting or adoption is this going to take? Is it by voice count? Is it?
Usually, the practice has always been by voice vote. That's always been by voice vote, and it's been smooth.
In Parliament, I know if you do voice vote and one opposes, there are avenues to challenge, and perhaps you can do the individual counting. Is there any?
No Parliament. And Parliament is regulated by a procedure adopted by members of Parliament, but this is NPP.
No, actually, because so if motion 1 is read and somebody says I think no, then no.
Usually,
how will you resolve that?
Usually, people make up their minds so firmly that when it is a no, you can tell very clearly that. I recall the very first one I participated in was in 2009. And there was a particular amendment which members had made up their mind that this one it won't pass. So even before they finished reading out the motion, the no was deafening, and that was the end of it. So
you don't expect that we will get motions that will split heads.
I don't expect that much, because these are all proposals from members themselves. A lot of them are about the same clauses, and the proposals are consolidated to achieve the object that are generally contained in those proposals.
Even though the motions are ones that have been drawn by the amendments committee, the themes for which they border around are known to me, and I'm sure known to you. One has to do with the quest to remove the super delegate system.
People think that we should review the way we do things, and because the way we do things are regulated by the Constitution, there's the proposals coming from members themselves which will form the basis of all the goals. And again, you know, a team went round and listened to people's concerns. So that will also influence even how the proposals are couched. We think that generally, over time, we appear to be overlooking that this party was built on some particular values. And it is important that we reminded ourselves that the basis of the formation of the party, the values which we held dear. Sometimes people ask what's the difference between your party and the other party, but our values differ. But if our works and our resolutions and our discussions don't center on the things we hold dear, people cannot tell the difference between them and us. So, yes, we want to rebuild the party. The values which the founding fathers built the party on should be the basis upon which any organization, reorganization, renewal is founded.
First, let's speak to these values. Are you able to elaborate on what these values are?
One of the proposed amendments that they should be stated in the Constitution. So they'll come.
But I mean, you've been a long-standing member of the NPP. What are the values? What values attract?
The values is that we are the party of governance. The party of governance believes in human rights, rule of law, and basically freedom of the individual to develop on his own. So you see that our motto is development and freedom. We believe as much as possible in the private enterprise, that people, once government provide the public infrastructure, we call that public goods, the individual will take advantage of the public goods to develop his own self. These are the values which formed the basis of our party over the years.
Is it that current members, leaders of the party are not familiar with these values, or they are being diluted? What exactly seems to have happened to these values?
Well, we think that in all our discussions, the emphasis of these values should be the central theme of our party, the party of governance. Governance based on the rule of law, based on respect for human rights, government based on free enterprise should be the basis and central to all discussions.
From what you said, will you say the party has swayed away from these values?
I don't think so. I only think that we should be emphasizing more in future discussions of the party.
Because some believe that the theme is an admission on the part of leaders of the party that you might have forsaken. Because we hear some persons within the NPP say that you're beginning to look more like the NDC.
Well, I don't know who is thinking that, but for me it is important that we emphasize what we stand for. I think it is important. And one of the reasons why we've started the school, Patriotic Institute, because there are many people coming up these days who need to be led to imbibe the values before they seek leadership positions in the country and in our party.
When the school was launched, there were issues about statements that if you want to hold a position within a party, or if the government comes to power and you ought to hold a position, you should have gone through the school. Some thought that you are pushing some form of indoctrination.
Well, indoctrination is critical. Why am I talking about values? The values are the basis of the indoctrination. Why do I speak so passionately about human rights? Why do I speak passionately about rule of law?
Doesn't it block your free thinking, the freeness of the thinking? I mean, at least
how can it be? The country's rules is based on the Constitution, and these are the values in the Constitution, you know. But sometimes when people have power, they forget that there's a basis for the power you have. There's a basis for the things why we have a democracy. There's a foundation based in the Constitution. And so we need to keep reminding ourselves that this party, these are the things we believe in. If you're going to be part of the team that work for or in this party, you must understand that these are the values that must show in all you do, as an office holder of the party or even a public servant.
So you will support any convention that appointees should have gone through the school?
Well, I don't know whether it's a conventional, but it must be critical, not necessarily the school. You must demonstrate that you understand and you work with those values.
Now, let's talk about the conference. We realize that in some of the advertisements, you put it from 19th to 18th to 21st, but the main, from Friday to Sunday. I might be getting the dates wrong, but from Friday to Sunday. But it appears that emphasis is on Saturday.
I don't know. We have not advertised. We only started advertising last week, when we launched the theme, and it was clear. We expect delegates to arrive on Friday, stay the night. The Saturday is the conference day. That's always been. We used to let delegates stay over after the conference, but it does appear that we may not be able to fund a second day of second day stay for delegates. So instead of leaving on Sunday, we think that when we conclude, members must continue.
That same day?
The same day, yes. That's what I would suggest. We're hoping that by 4 p.m. we'll be done, so members can start off on their journey.
There's a practice, or at least I know of 2019, where a reform proposal was given to a committee after conference couldn't consider it. 50. That means that if you're not able to meet the 4 p.m. guidelines, you may be guided to do so.
We may, but of course, what decisions will be taken at the conference is outside my purview. Leadership here, members of the National Council, national officers will be here guiding what should be done. In fact, I'm not even a delegate. My duty is to make sure that we are organized so delegates can meet, discuss, and take decisions. That's all. So when we finish the opening ceremony, I will draw from here and sit in the back room, making sure that the things we set up do work to achieve the purpose for which we set them up.
The date of the conference came with the controversy of holding the flag bearer elections. That has been decided already, a top-bottom approach.
I wonder how you want to bring flag bearers into this discussion. My team and I are responsible for organizing this conference. The main agenda of this conference is constitutional amendments.
Fair enough. But the point is that the announcement of the decision brought along with those controversies. And there's a party seeking to unify. So I'm asking you as chairman of the planning committee, how did these auxiliary issues play in your planning?
Well, first and foremost, as I've explained, my job is to plan and execute a conference. Any other discussions were never featured in any of the meetings and the programs we did. We don't have the mandate to do any other thing beyond these things. So if people have discussions outside it, I have not participated in any such discussion. I am not sure that I want to participate in any discussion bound by decisions of the party at the highest level. After Congress on Saturday, any other matters that require decision will be taken by a National Council, which is very representative of the party across the country. So,
not even the supposed quest for postponement of this conference?
Well, that was discussed at the last National Council, and there was, in my view, practically an overwhelming conclusion that it should continue.
Will we be seeing an invitation, or have you even sent invitations already to other political parties? It's something that is usually characteristics of them.
Yes, we have.
What response have you received?
I'm getting my last report before this day ends, so I can confirm how many of them have responded. But as I speak here, I don't have the details of who and who have responded to attend or not. But we have prepared for diplomats, we have prepared for other political parties.
Security, who is in charge of security? There's 6,000 delegates, that's a huge number.
Yes, we have prepared. The National Police will be supporting with our own internal security arrangements. We'll be very firm on the things we insist people should do. One, if you're not a delegate, a special guest or an accredited person, you can't enter. We don't have a problem at all with people being around the presence. But even to be around the presence, you're not expected to advertise for any of the would-be presidential candidates. That will not be allowed. If you bring a poster, we are ready, we'll remove it. If you bring any billboard, we are ready, we'll remove it. If you wear a t-shirt or a shirt of any, we will remove it.
Has this directive gone down to all delegates?
And it's one of the first things we advertised. So I think anybody who hasn't heard that, you should help him or her to hear it now. We have no space for that in this conference.
So you seem to be saying that no campaign here?
At all.
What if they do by word of mouth campaign?
I don't know how. The agenda does not have space for any such program. It's not part of the agenda. So it's practical. Of course, if you're standing outside and you're talking to somebody, nobody can. But if you come and group, we'll disperse you.
Now let's deal with issues relating to the party's. This has to do with the party's constitution. From your experience, after the reforms are accepted, what happens? The constitution is rewritten. What exactly happens?
Usually, after the vote, then a team is put together to review which clauses are to be taken out, which clauses will be retained, and which new ones will be added. Then the new one, the reorganized one, is printed and distributed to members.
Finally, from me, after the conference, how do you expect the party to continue to reorganize, particularly on the theme that you've selected?
Well, the party will continue to reorganize as it is modeled and as would be under the Constitution. The critical thing is always to have, as we have decided, the base is organized very well. And then as it comes up, in my personal view, the real strength of the party is in the polling station structures. And so as long as we have the polling station structures, however they are elected, we make sure that people have opportunity to participate in the polling station arrangement. And then the rest of us, I never really believe that my emphasis should be on regional executive. No, my emphasis should be in the polling station and the constituency, because when they put together, they are the party, national one. So this party will continue to be reorganized down there, ensure equity and fairness in arrangements down there, and then nothing else can change.
There's a new government. Should we expect a conversation and assessment of them from the party at this delegates conference?
No, it's not part of the agenda. When we have elected the leaders, they will speak for us. Now, Parliament, they have leaders, they speak for us. But outside Parliament, it is after we have reorganized, rechanged, then various people will take various stands and speak for the rest of us.
If I'm to ask you, percentage-wise, how prepared are you?
As at today, in planning, we are 100% fully planned. Now we are implementing. But as at today, 2 days before the conference, we are about 60% done. By close of day tomorrow, we'll be fully done.
Thank you very much. So that is the Honorable Joseph Osei Owusu. He's chair of the planning committee for the NPP's National Delegates Conference.